I'm Mr. MegaManFan, and this is the PC Engine Files, where today we're looking at New Adventure Island. This is a Hudson Soft release that comes after Super Adventure Island on the Super Nintendo, but before Adventure Island 3 on the Nintendo Entertainment System. Is that weird? I think it is. Sure doesn't seem to match up chronologically the way you would think. It's like that old song, Stuck in the Middle with You. This game is definitely stuck in the middle of the Adventure Island timeline, but that doesn't make it a bad game. In fact, I think it's one of the better games you can play on any console, not just a PC Engine or a TurboGrafx 16, but generally speaking, it's a really good game. In fact, I would say that about the Adventure Island series as a whole. They're just good, fun games. If you've never played one before, the premise is fairly simple. You're Higgins, or Master Higgins, or in Japan, Master Takahashi. Whatever you want to call him, I'll just call him Higgins. Higgins loses health over time as you play the game. You replenish that health by picking up fruits and food, and they replenish your energy so you can continue your quest. And in this case, your quest is to rescue your bride, who was kidnapped right at the beginning of the game in that cutscene. Her name is Tina, and some of the various residents of this adventure island that you share with her. So you're on a quest to get her back and to save the villagers. Now, replenishing your constantly depleting health isn't the only thing you have to do. You also have enemies that are placed in your way, and sometimes you can pick up a weapon to take them out. You can pick up a boomerang, or a fireball, which is a hidden weapon, or some arrows, or your basic weapon, which is just an axe that circles in an arc in front of you. Sometimes you can just avoid the enemies by letting them fly by you, or ducking under them, or jumping over them. But you either take out the enemies or move past them to continue your quest. Generally speaking, in Adventure Island games, that quest moves from left to right, a la Super Mario Bros., Mega Man, and most other games of its ilk. But you must always be replenishing your health as you're moving left to right, and you must combat the enemies and pick up whatever power-ups you need to complete the level. The trickiest of the power-ups is a skateboard, because you can control your forward momentum when you're just on your own 2 feet, but with the skateboard you're constantly moving forward, which can make some of the platforming really difficult. However, you do get a stage bonus if you complete a stage while riding the skateboard, so it's a pro-con balance that you have to figure out for yourself. Is it worth the risk that I might die or not be able to complete a level? Or is it worth the extra points? And you do get an extra life at 10,000 points, so there is value in the points. They aren't points for the sake of points alone. I don't know if people try to speedrun New Adventure Island or any of the Adventure Island games. I would suspect there's probably a speedrunning high scoreboard of some kind. Heck, there might even be any percent runs for people that know glitches to complete Adventure Island faster. I'm not familiar with those. I've never exploited the glitches, but I do appreciate that New Adventure Island has one thing that's not a glitch but a feature: the flags with the Hudson B on them. When the flag goes down, you can return to that point in the game. If you haven't reached the flag yet, you'll have to start over from the beginning of the level or the last flag that you got to. So it's something that you can make progress in even without save states, as long as you learn the level layout and don't make mistakes, which you'll notice that I'm making a few here. So I'm going to do a jump cut and leave the uncut footage in a separate video where I actually make a little more progress without having to use a continue. But you really want to see that footage of me screwing this one level up over and over again? Well, then we can just have that be bonus footage for a separate clip. The Adventure Island games kind of force you to get into what I would call a flow state, where if you're hitting everything right, you're in the zone and you don't even feel it. And if you're not in the flow state, then you're just going to do the same mistakes no matter how hard you try. And this game really befuddles you because it looks like you can go faster. It reminds you of a endless runner game where you should constantly be moving forward, but you don't have to. And you have to keep reminding yourself of that. Like, I didn't have to move forward into that bat that was over my head. I could have actually stopped and shot the bat. You know, you just have to remind yourself you don't have to keep constantly moving forward even when you're not on the skateboard. Like here with these platforms, you might think I gotta hurry up because they're gonna fall, but they don't fall. It's that mentality that seeps into your mind from playing modern platforming games that you kind of have to undo when you play Adventure Island games. And I'm not saying there aren't falling platforms, and I'm not saying there aren't tricks and traps. I'm just saying sometimes you can overthink a game like Adventure Island, and that's the other thing about being in a flow zone, is when you're in the flow zone, you're not overthinking it, you're not thinking it, you're just doing it. You're just feeling the game and reacting to the game intuitively without having to process it to that degree. You're making the right decisions. You're jumping when you should jump. You're throwing axes when you should throw them. You're clearing levels when you should clear them. And when you get into that flow, New Adventure Island and any Adventure Island game in general is a hell of a lot of fun. But even when you're not in the zone, it's still fun to play because the graphics are large and colorful. The sound is pleasing to listen to. Hudson Soft knew what they were doing with this series, and in fact, they are one of the best developers for TurboGrafx 16 because it is, after all, kind of their thing. Hue cards, Hudson cards. When you put a Hue card into a TurboGrafx 16, you're putting a Hudson Soft product in there. Anyway, by all means, go out of your way to play New Adventure Island, but beware the prices that it goes for. It is not a cheap game. Loose $103, complete $185, brand new $325. Thankfully, I got it from Virtual Console on Nintendo Wii when it was only 800 points, 700 points, something like that. It wasn't more than $10 in Wii Shop currency. And if you have a Wii U, it's still available that way as well. And it's also on the TurboGrafx Mini, so you've got lots of ways to play New Adventure Island and no excuse not to do it. I'm Mr. MegaManFan. Thank you for watching the PC Engine Files. Like, share, subscribe, do all that stuff, and I will see you again next week.